Carolina National Guard has moved into Charlotte this evening after 2 nights of violence sparked by the death of Keith Scott, an African-American shot by an African-American police officer. Today, video of that shooting was shown privately to Scott's family. David Begnaud is in Charlotte.
The second night of protests was more dangerous than the first. In the chaos, gunfire. A young man was shot and later died. Police say he was not shot by an officer. Today, for the first time, the family of 43-year-old Keith Scott was set to speak, but they were overcome by grief. So attorney Justin Bamberg spoke for them.
This family has questions, and they deserve answers. Don't release some information. Don't play hide the ball. If you're going to release what happened, release everything.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Chief Kurt Putney says he will not let the public see the video because the investigation is ongoing. Police say Scott had a gun.
Oh my God.
Witnesses say it was a book.
The video does not give me absolute, definitive, visual evidence that would confirm that a person is pointing a gun.
Police claim they did recover a gun, but didn't find a book.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.
The chief has been criticized for taking 15 hours to accept more manpower. National Guard and state police offered by the governor Tuesday morning.
Why did you allow things to escalate to the point that they did last night?
I don't believe I allowed anything. I believe what happened is people were violating the law. They were in huge numbers, and it's something that we can't anticipate.
County Commissioner Vil Malik says Charlotte has been ripe for this kind of tension.
It's almost like a volcano that's beginning to explode. Joblessness, education is not strong in given communities. Weakest teachers with the weakest children. This is a divided community. So a lot of this stems from that process from our young people who say we're not taking it anymore.
Police are bracing for more protests tonight. 44 people were arrested last night. Scott, there's a state of emergency that's in effect right now, and it gives the police chief the ability to enact a curfew. But the chief says as of right now, he doesn't intend to.
David Begnaud reporting. Thank you.
He fired a shot, and then I began to return fire and take cover.
First at 6, a Metro Atlanta officer charged. Investigators say the story she told them and us in an exclusive CBS 46 interview about how she got shot was all a lie. For 2 weeks, her fellow officers searched for a gunman, a black man she said shot her. Today, authorities say he doesn't exist. She lied. Hello, I'm Sharon Reed.
And I'm Ben Swan. Right now, Hall is on administrative leave with pay. We have team coverage. CBS 46 investigative reporter Karen Greer uncovers Hall's criminal past. But first, we begin with CBS 46's Adam Harding and the new charges she could face. Adam.
Ben and Sharon, good evening to you. In my hands, the 4 warrants out for this officer's arrest. She only worked at the police department behind us for 3 months. Tonight, she's facing charges accused of lying about being shot on the job. And the question on so many minds tonight, why?
He shot me. I can't believe he shot me. Why did he shoot me? I'm just trying to help him.
In this exclusive interview, Officer Sherry Hall sat beside her children and described for us the moment she was ambushed while on patrol.
It knocked every bit of breath out of me, and it actually dropped me to my knees. And but I know I had to get back up. I couldn't lay there. I had to get up.
The 4-year police veteran told investigators a black man in a green shirt fired a single shot at her, then took off running. Her family was pleading for an arrest. Hall says she was suffering from third-degree burns and bruises.
Good evening.
But in a major twist Friday, police say that elaborate tale she told our cameras was all a lie.
There is no person out there with a gun shooting at our police officers.
The district attorney confirming arrest warrants are now out for Officer Hall.
The investigations has now revealed that there is no and never was a suspect shooter at large in Jackson, Georgia.
Investigators won't confirm if they believe she accidentally shot herself, but we've learned the Jackson Police Department does have a policy in place where accidental shootings could lead to an officer being fired.
For 2 weeks, the good people of the city of Jackson have poured out their hearts, their expressions of concern, and their support for what we believe to be a police officer, one of our own, harmed in the line of duty. I share their disappointment in what we now believe to be a ruse.
Hall is currently on paid administrative leave. The chief says she joined the 13-member force only 3 months ago. She could now face several years in jail.
I have been entrusted as the chief of police here in Jackson to enforce the law to the fullest. And that means even if I have to enforce them on my own personnel.
Now, Sharon and Ben, as we mentioned, she is on paid administrative leave. She's still getting paid even right now, in part because she has not yet been arrested. We've learned she is now in a private facility that investigators won't elaborate on. They will only say she checked herself in, and they did say this paid administrative leave will be monitored and assessed as early as, if not today, possibly tomorrow, at which point we could learn when she will be behind bars. Reporting live in Butts County in Jackson, I'm Adam Harding, CBS 46 News.
Adam, thank you.
Today, the family of Sandra Bland reached a $1.9 million settlement in a wrongful death lawsuit. It was in July of last year that Bland died in a Texas jail cell after a minor traffic violation. Omar Villafranca is at the Waller County Jail.
It started like a routine traffic stop when a Texas state trooper pulled over Sandra Bland for failing to signal a lane change in July of last year.
I said get out of the car.
But it quickly escalated.
And then I will light you up. Get out!
28-year-old Bland was later taken to the Waller County Jail. And 3 days later, she was found hanging in her jail cell.
No justice, no peace.
Activists questioned her death and why she was even arrested. No one was charged in Bland's death, but Trooper Brian Encenia was fired for violating department procedures, which require officers to be courteous and patient. An autopsy found that Bland had hanged herself with a trash bag in her jail cell, raising questions about how inmates are monitored. A year later, Bland's mother, Geneva Reed Veal, welcomes the settlement.
Sandy's death meant something. And literally across the country, she is known now. So she's got a legacy.
In addition to the payout to the Bland family, Waller County agreed to change procedures at the jail, including improved electronic monitoring of inmates in their cells. A nurse or emergency medical technician must be on duty during all shifts, and pledging to seek state help to improve jail functions. Any legislation passed will be named in honor of Bland.
These are things that needed to be in place prior to her death, but for now, I think that it's important that no other family has to go through this type of pain.
The attorney for Waller County says the deal has not been finalized. Scott, he also released a statement saying they vigorously deny any fault or wrongdoing.
Omar Villafranca. Omar, thank you.
The news of the fatal shooting of Terrence Crutcher at the hands of Tulsa police has dominated the headlines, along with additional police shootings, which are and have been disgustingly commonplace throughout American history. What is uncommon is the officers responsible for the shooting deaths encountering valid punishment for their deadly actions. Often, these members of law enforcement are not convicted, if tried at all. Again, a shameful yet ordinary trait of American society. But last night, less than a week after the death of Crutcher, it was reported that Betty Shelby, the 42-year-old officer who shot and killed him, has been charged with first-degree felony manslaughter. Tulsa County District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler made the declaration during a press conference yesterday.
In the matter of the death of Terrence Crutcher, I determined that the filing of the felony crime of manslaughter in the first degree against Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby is warranted.
Early Friday morning, following the charges, Officer Shelby was booked at county jail and then released on $50,000 bond a few minutes later. According to the DA's office in Oklahoma, the penalty for a first-degree manslaughter conviction is 4 years to life. Oklahoma's Governor Mary Fallin released a statement about the charges. I pray this decision provides some peace to the Crutcher family and the people of Tulsa. But we must remain patient as the case works its way through the justice system, where a jury likely will be asked to decide whether Officer Betty Shelby is guilty of the crime. And we must remember that in our justice system, Officer Shelby is innocent until proven guilty. The Crutcher family, along with their lawyers, also offered up their thoughts on the announcement of the charges. Terrence's twin sister Tiffany labeled the charges a small victory, but went on to state, "Our goal now as a family is to ensure this never happens to another citizen. We will stay vigilant as this process moves forward and join the other peacefully in demanding greater accountability and transparency from law enforcement." Many of the details regarding this fatal incident remain unknown, but surely they will be presented from both sides of the courtroom during this forthcoming trial. And in addition to the criminal case, both the FBI and the Department of Justice are looking into the shooting to determine if there was a violation of civil rights. We'll continue to follow this story as well as the other shootings that have taken place here in America.